All right, everyone. This is Vishal from Equity Guru, and welcome to Chart Attack. Bitcoin. We got to talk about Bitcoin. We did a video on Bitcoin just a few weeks ago, and I think last week. We'll take a look at the charts, but yeah, I mean, we were looking for that breakout into new highs, and perhaps that inflation data is what might have triggered it. And again, I say that because um, I'm in Bitcoin because I treat it like gold and silver. I think it's the anti-dollar, and it's a hedge against maybe a currency crisis and that kind of stuff. But other people don't think so. Other people think it's different. But whatever. More power to you guys. But I think it's better to have some Bitcoin and crypto rather than none. Big news, another watershed moment for Bitcoin, and that was the first US. So I want to say US, right? Because obviously we have a Canadian one, but the first US Bitcoin ETF, and that is from ProShares. BITO is the ticker. Started to trade today, and we had some nice volume, 24 million of the shares traded, up about 4%. Actually, a pretty nice green close because, as you guys see from my morning article, it was red, but it had a pretty nice close. So that's good to see. But we have to stress that this is a futures ETF, and the summary, it does stress that these are the holdings, right? So we're talking about CME futures and CME micro Bitcoin futures. It does not track the price of Bitcoin, but rather tracks the fund that tracks CME Bitcoin futures or contracts speculating on the future price of Bitcoin rather than the crypto itself. And we even say ProShares even mentioned it. It's to provide capital appreciation through managed exposure to Bitcoin futures, and it does not invest directly in Bitcoin. So they also stress that the performance of the shares can differ somewhat from the price of Bitcoin itself. So keep that in mind. But this is a watershed moment because it seems that the SEC is going to allow other Bitcoin ETFs, and we heard today that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which has always wanted to become an ETF, is now formally kicking off a plan to convert into an ETF. And then also a Valkyrie Bitcoin Strategy ETF. I think that's sort of a funny one here, but these guys also got approval from the SEC, and they are now using the ticker BTFD. So buy the freaking dip. And it's quite funny because it looks like they are catering to that meme crowd or that retail crowd with that type of ticker. But apparently, it's going to launch. It's going to launch this week as well. But that is also a Bitcoin futures ETF, as I see here on Cointelegraph. But keep your eyes out for that. So some good, I guess, watershed moments there. And I did talk about Coinbase when it initially came out, that it was a great watershed moment because some institutions don't want to actually own tokens because of, mostly depositor insurance, right? That regulations. And once cryptos get regulated, they'll be able to play that kind of stuff. But, they're happy buying, MicroStrategy or Riot blockchain. And then Coin, has a good correlation with cryptos in general. So that was one that the traditional money could invest in. But now BITO is another way for them to do so. But Coin, just the type of market structure that we like to trade. And we were watching these two resistance zones, one that broke above 250, but recently we just had one that broke above 280. And look at that move up to resistance here at 310. And possibly we can get a bit of a retracement. But now 280 is that support that we are working with. And if we do take out and climb above 310, then 310 would be the new support zone as we go into new highs. But interestingly, we are at a 310 resistance zone because if I show you guys the chart of Bitcoin, we technically sort of are at a resistance. So although my Coinbase daily chart did close and we closed above that resistance zone. And if I just show you the weekly chart, I think you guys have heard this all weekend, but a new record all-time close on the weekly candle for Bitcoin last week as we took out bodies from March of this year. So it is looking good, and it does look like we will, maybe by the time this video actually comes out, we might already be ripping into new all-time record highs. And here on Coinbase, they give us that record high at $899, and right now we're trading at $64,157. So that resistance zone, it's very good. And if you guys read my article today, we were talking about this 60K zone, which you can sort of see a bit better here on the 4-hour chart, where that was a support that was being played, and people ended up buying there. So yeah, the support held, folks. I think going forward now, 60K is still the support that we will work with, but it does look like new record highs is coming. And we initially talked about this, if you guys remember, on that trend line break. So when Bitcoin finally took off and broke above 50K, that's the one thing I like about Bitcoin and cryptos, is the technicals work really, really well with Bitcoin and crypto. So for technical analysts like me, it's very exciting and very fun stuff, and great for trading and swing trading. And I think you guys should take advantage of that. So really like where we're going. That daily close is very, very strong, and we'll see if it's just the new daily candle is red right now, but we'll find out what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised by the time this video comes out, we're maybe touching like 67K or making new record highs, and that was a very, very good momentum move there. So very strong positives, technicals here, and obviously the momentum is there with everyone talking about it. But everyone talks about the case for Bitcoin to go higher, right? Again, there's some people who think this is just the retail crowd chasing it and people just jumping in on the mania. I personally think it's an anti-dollar, so I like to include it in my currency. If I'm forecasting a currency crisis or that type of problem with the Federal Reserve and their monetary policy, I like to own some cryptos. I love gold and silver as well. You guys know me, so I think don't be just team gold and team Bitcoin. I think you should buy both, in my opinion. Better to have some Bitcoin than to not have some Bitcoin. So I like to think of it as an anti-dollar, not necessarily a currency, just because I don't think people would sell or use their Bitcoin as currency if the price keeps going higher. And then there's also that case of it being very volatile. But I do think it's an asset class, and I might even use that word, the safe haven status there. So don't discount it, folks. But now, are we going to 100K? That's the big question. By the end of 2021, people were laughing at those suggestions and targets, but now people are like, holy cow, maybe 100K is the next target, and we could hit that by the end of the year. Technicals look good, and the momentum there is definitely with Bitcoin. But I kept this one a bit longer than usual, so sorry about that, folks. If you enjoyed the video, and if you got in when we mentioned that breakout on Bitcoin, and we also mentioned that on Ethereum as well, which is looking good. But give us a thumbs up. Be sure to follow us on all our social media links provided in the description box below. And more importantly, I want to hear what you guys think about crypto. 100K, are we going there, or do we fall from here and pull back a little bit further? Let me know if you're bullish. Let me know if you're bearish. Let me know if you hate Bitcoin. Let me know if you love Bitcoin. And let me know if you guys think no one should own Bitcoin. It should all be just precious metals and stuff. I really want to know in the comments below. But that's it for me, folks. I'll see you guys in the next one.